late into the night thinking one more email just in case it'll help us pay the food bills. When it's night time, the birds go to sleep, they wake up in the morning, they look for food, and by their own God-given intuition or by their own guidance and the whispers of the angles of light which carry the photons, which let them know where to go, when to migrate, those things that we call in a more romantic term angels. They are fed, and their young are fed, and they breed and procreate, and on it goes for hundreds of thousands of years. And most Christians can't do that. And I struggle to do that. But the struggle is minute when I get some time to silence my mind.
Let it start a revolution, change the world to what it should be, and forget all this confusion.
Guys, I just did a video, so you'll know there's a storm coming from the last one. But before that comes, yesterday I made an Instagram post and I used a quote from the Bible in there, a quote that I love dearly. A passage, the whole passage I love, but the quote I used was, I put it on a picture of me feeding some birds that were flying down into my hand. And the quote goes, for those of you who haven't read or know the Bible, look to the birds of the sky. Are they not provided for? Do they reap and store foods in barns? Does the Lord not provide for them? Varies on the translation. The quote will be in the video. But what people miss is what is being said there is what I'm trying to show that we need tools to do. You can't take no thought for tomorrow. You can't take no thought for what you'll eat tonight. You can't take no thought for the garments you wear unless you take those thoughts from, take that state of no thought, I should say, from the present moment. And you cannot access the present moment unless you silence your mind and take no thought for your life. When Jesus speaks these words, Jesus is teaching Taoism. Now, it's not called Taoism. That's just a label. It's the same as spirituality is just a label. Physical is just a label. It's just a concept. It's a way for us to fragment reality and put it into boxes that we can try and understand with our linear minds, our linear processing system. But if you study Taoism, that's what he was doing, teaching Taoism in his own form. He was saying, stop thinking about it, be here now like a bird. And as a bird is here now, God provides for that bird in the moment, and if you give God a chance, and the only place you can give him a chance with pure faith is in that same moment, then you'll see that you are just as important and God will provide for you too. And I'm not a master of this. I forget it all too often. But I know it, and I see it, and I know its importance. And the sooner we stop dismissing meditation as part of Christianity, the more Christians will be available to do God's work and to be Christians. Many Christians now, if I took them to court, the rain's on my roof, you might not hear me well. If I took them to court on the trial of being Christian, I think most cases would be thrown out because there wouldn't be enough evidence for them to prosecute them as a Christian. It's a strange analogy, but I think that would be the case. But many of them, it's not through any lack of integrity or want or love. It's through a battle of finding balance between the spirit and the flesh. It's through a journey start using my language a little different. Christianity likes to use battle. That's why, as I've said, Samson fights a lion. That's why the Gospel of Thomas, the man who consumes the lion, and the lion becomes man because it overthrows the ego. But let's say the struggle, the journey between flesh and spirit that we all must embark upon. That is done in the teachings of Jesus Christ, absolutely. In service to others and charity to others, you will find just as much learning as what you do in meditation. But what we need to realize is that meditation is the tool to do what Jesus was asking you to do. And if you don't have it, you're really going to struggle. Now, meditation's not the answer. You can sit around and meditate and make yourself feel good about bad things. It's a dangerous thing without a moral code to work by. And there's no better moral code than the one left behind by Christ. It's a perfect moral code to share, to love. This is the moral code I live by, to live for others. But many New Age people, they still behave, for instance, sexually immoral and then sit on a meditation pillow, still feeling reasonably okay because they've justified. So meditation in that sense can be misused. But it's also still relaxing the human body, and who's to say that their way of life is not their expression of life? But for me, I find the Christian morality and the morality left by Jesus' teachings, not the Christian morality, the morality of Christ, I find that to be perfect. I find it to be perfect. That a man should look after his children, his wife, he should be sexually moral and disciplined. He should do his best to always make sure that he doesn't become unbalanced. I've been unbalanced in spirit and unbalanced in flesh. The reason I'm unbalanced and ill at the moment is I was too unbalanced in spirit. But being unbalanced in flesh is far worse, because you can do much worse things from your flesh than from your spirit, in my experience. You become addicted and so on and so forth. Sexually immoral. You know the drill. But if we want to do what he asked, and look to the birds of the sky, and look to the flowers of the field, then we have to be able to look, and we have to be able to understand how to access that matrix of living, that matrix of existence for ourselves, where we can have that faith. And a part of that is meditation. It's not the answer to it all, but it's so important. Christianity needs it more than ever. We've got our moral codes in place, but we've got pastors behaving immorally. Why? Because they can't access that paradigm of discipline, because they don't know how to make their mind quiet. They don't know how to look to the birds of the sky and how to make the carnal mind quiet, to have the faith of a flying bird, that they don't need to worry, because God's got it covered and it's all just part of his workings. And that's my ongoing journey, especially with so many children to provide for, and providing for them by the good grace of humans who I've never met before, and making videos and saying prayers, completely reliant on God and his ability to move his children. I have to look to the birds, and I have to be like the birds of the sky. And the times I don't get a chance to sit down and make my mind quiet, those are the times I get anxious and I get stressed, because I can't access that space correctly. And I keep working late into the night, thinking one more email just in case it'll help us pay the food bills. When it's night time, the birds go to sleep. They wake up in the morning, they look for food, and by their own God-given intuition, or by their own guidance and the whispers of the angles of light which carry the photons, which let them know where to go, when to migrate, those things that we call in a more romantic term angels, They are fed, and their young are fed, and they breed and procreate, and on it goes for hundreds of thousands of years. And most Christians can't do that. And I struggle to do that. But the struggle is minute when I get some time to silence my mind and take no thought for the morrow. That's where your faith rises. What faith is there in doing it with your carnal mind? It's needed. Your carnal mind is needed. But what faith is there in that? God will direct you in that silence. And then your carnal mind is the thing that carries out the actions within the physical realm to make sure that you make the best use of those things that God brought to you in answer of your prayer. But it all begins when you accept that you can learn from all over the place. And I hope to God that some more scrolls are dug up. The Nag Hammadi proves to me undoubtedly that Jesus knew not Taoism, but the principles, the concept of Taoism. And I hope to God a very direct set of instructions from that man is dug up one day, so people can see, wow, he meditated. He sat under trees. My light's gone off. He followed the principles of Tao in his own way. Whatever label he gave it. I just call it communing with God. So let's be the type of Christians who, when you are taken to court under the charge of being Christian, your case is not thrown out. Because when you read a passage that says, look to the birds of the sky, take no thought that they can't throw your case out because you're not doing it because you don't know how. Because you have the tools, as well as the moral guidance, as well as the trust and the faith, as well as the understanding of the love and the sacrifices that God makes for you, that you have the practical tool of realigning your energy and your mind to be able to be a person who can obey. I wrote in that post yesterday, I wrote the quote, look to the birds of the sky, and then afterwards I wrote quite simply, in other words, be here now. It doesn't mean that you just live for the moment without any consequence. You live in this moment, understanding the rules set out to you by moral governance. And if you need written rules and your heart can't guide you correctly because we've grown up in a poisoned society where morality is very confusing for many people, then follow the moral guidance of Jesus Christ, because it's nearly perfect. Be here now with the morality of Christ. And this video is basically saying that in a much more elaborate fashion. God bless, guys. Love you all. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as it really helps us to grow the channel and with it help more children here in Tanzania. Also, don't forget you can support our work by sharing with children in crisis here, be it sharing for a particular need or even sharing one-on-one support for education, housing, food and medical care. It can be done for as little as the cost of a cup of coffee a week back in the West after all. Just visit www.sharetanzania.co.uk to find out more. Lastly, remember you can also support us via Patreon. www.patreon.com/featherstail and help keep us here in Tanzania to continue our work. The links for the website and for the Patreon are in the description box of this video. Love and light, guys. See you soon.